What's up everybody, Matt Nuzzo. We're here at Rio to talk to you about the Core Nexus 2. This kite, the Nexus in the Core lineup, is the Swiss Army knife of their kites. I guess it's the German Army knife because there's got to be something like that in Germany. Haven't been, but I can tell you that the Germans know how to make a damn good kite because the Nexus 2 delivers. And this kite being the Swiss Army knife means that it can do any discipline in the lineup. Doesn't matter what kind of kiteboarder you want to be, the Nexus fits the bill. Most importantly, right off the bat, it is crazy stable, one of the most stable over your head kites I've ever used. So that makes, when a kite is stable over your head, it makes it just awesome for people that are learning. We're in the we make new riders every day business. So when we find a kite that makes kiteboarding easy, we love that kite. Kite stability is super, super easy. So that is one of the things that makes this kite so awesome. Super stable, really easy to ride. So what's new with the Nexus 2? Two biggest changes that I could tell just technically is they changed the strut construction. They're using the strut construction, they're using the Exotex light material for the Dacron as opposed to what they're using on the leading edge, which is the standard Exotec leading edge material. That changes the balance point, changes kind of how the kite drifts, how it flies. So on the underpowered or drifting, like kite surfing or foiling, that really helped that out in the Nexus. The wingtip size is drastically different too, a lot fuller in the wingtip size. So on the performance level, for like loops and kind of that high performance stuff I don't like to do anymore, is definitely helps a lot. But for your average rider, that fuller wingtip is gonna have that really smooth, buttery power. And basically, when a kite has a full wingtip, you turn it, that's when you start to get power and makes that consistent power through the turns. So those are technically the two things that I noticed when I just took it out of the bag, pumped it up. That's the two things that I really noticed right off the bat, is that like flying it, hey, you've got more direct feel because of the full wingtip. Lighter struts means that the kite drifts better for when I'm foiling and kite surfing. So two great improvements. So Nexus as an overall kite, what makes it so great? Put the kite in the air, super stable, right? Great for beginners. You don't have to look at the kite, you know where it is, you feel it all the time. When you're riding it and flying it, it just has that real buttery, smooth power delivery. Okay, jumping has a nice arcing bell curve. So, and then when you're kite surfing, you know, real quick and snappy, good power through the turns, but it's not like aggressive and punchy, okay? And then foiling, you know, underpowered, that stability comes into play. And again, that smooth, easy power delivery works really well. So it works as a freestyle kite, it works as a beginner kite, works as a looping kite, works as a foiling kite, works as a kite surfing kite. It kind of does everything that they have specialty kites for in the range. So I want to compare it to some of those kites in the range so you really understand what's for who, okay? You've got the XR6, which is their premium high-level booster, right? That thing is, you know, we actually teach a lot of beginners on it because it has that massive wind range. It does have more power per size, okay? So a 12 XR is going to have more power per size than the Nexus does. On the bigger sizes of the Nexus, which I kind of always thought a little bit slow and doggy, and kind of I was like, why didn't you just go to an XR? They've brought it a lot closer to the XR in the big sizes. So 13.5, 15, 17, you're getting more power per size, which is really nice. So compared to the XR in that size range, the XR has more power. If you want to have like the most powerful light wind kite, XR is going to have more power. If you want to have a sportier kite for a guy my size, 165 pounds, I prefer the Nexus because it's sportier and quicker turning, and I could generate more power by turning. But if you're a bigger rider, then you want to have that max power and max wind range, then the XR is where you're going to go in there. Now going to the GTS. GTS is that kind of real like heavy duty power delivery. You turn, it delivers, right? But it doesn't have a lot of power per size. So Nexus has a little bit more power per size than the GTS, but it doesn't have that kind of heavy duty punchy in the face power. You know, when you jump on the Nexus, it has a little smoother down side, whereas the GTS, like you want to loop that kite to land, that's just how it likes it. It just wants to always be looping. So again, GTS is going to be more aggressive, right? Then we're going to go into the surf range with the section. So the section is going to have better drift because it is a lighter weight kite, and it has that little better on-off power. So like I loop that kite and I bring it down right in the window and I sheet out to do a turn. The section is just going to park there and stay there, center strut pointed up right in the lower part of the wind window. The Nexus is gonna do pretty well with that drift, but not quite as well as the Section. So what they did with this year's, with the Nexus 2 is they brought in parts of the XR that they wanted. They brought in parts of the GTS that they wanted. They brought in parts of the Section that they wanted, and kind of rounded it out to make sure that if this is their jack of all trades kites, this is the kite that they want to make sure that they're bringing those other parts and DNA. So if you're going through the range and you have some XRs and you decide to go into the Nexus, like for me, I really love the XR in that mid-size range because that power delivery, huge boost, huge hang time. So, you know, on the bigger sizes, I'm enjoying the Nexus. And then, you know, smaller size too, you know, I might want to go to the Section because that's where I'm riding really overpowered. But the Nexus, really what it does is does everything great. And so they brought in those things that it's going to cover all the bases that you need, and it's going to just be an awesome, well-made kite. Coming to what is awesome about Core is their construction and their build quality. The materials they're using, top notch. They hold up better than anything that we put through the ringer and the lesson center. They hold their value well because they hold up. And as a kite stretches over time, this kite still works if it's, you know, on its first session or its 400th session. And we put 400 sessions on kites, so we know how they hold up. Core, second to none on that. Really nothing I don't like about it. Only thing I really don't like about it, these little darts back here. I said, why do you guys keep putting these little things in here, these little stupid battens in here? And the reason is a 3-strut kite. With the 3-strut kites, they want to make sure they reduce the flutter down to absolutely as minimal as possible. That's what this thing does. You know, I'm just kind of annoyed by it. The other thing, people don't like pulleys on the bridles. Pulleys on the bridles is what makes kites work. This is what makes Core kites work. I've never had a pulley wear out on these things. So that's, people get hung up on pulleys, but I never see it as an issue. So if you want the great all-around kite, Core Nexus 2, super impressed, stoked on how it rides. And if you have more questions, want to figure out which Core kite's right for you, give us a call at the shop. We get to ride them all, we get to use them all in the backyard, get out there in the slick, get out in the ocean, get some advice from Real. 252-987-6000 or realwatersports.com. See you guys on the water.